Disney parks are over 75 years old, and many of their most popular rides are about to turn 50 years old. But despite their age, rides like the Haunted Mansion and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride still hold up. But during my most recent Disney trip, I got to thinking, what if they updated some of their most classic rides? And this can be a heated topic, as some rides have been there since opening day and have connected millions of people across multiple generations. So let's just ask the question, should Disney parks update some of their classic rides? For those of you who hate when YouTubers stretch out a topic for 30 minutes reading the Webster's dictionary, here you go. First, I want to clarify that when I say update, I mean really go all out and completely rebuild it. So not just adding some weird cartoony pirate, I'm talking all out. And to figure out who we need to go all out for, we first identify worthy rides by asking 3 questions. With the amount of time, money, and risk it takes, it's important to realize not all rides would even benefit from upgrades. So it's imperative to figure out what makes some rides more worth it than others. There's a difference between being for kids and being for everyone, and since little kids can be easily entertained, let's not waste our time updating something like Dumbo. The big risk for an upgrade is it turning out worse than the original, but thanks to Disney's international presence, they get a lot of opportunities to try things out. A Pirates ride exists in 5 different parks, but Shanghai has Battle for the Sunken Treasure, and since we know what Imagineers can do with pirates, is it safe to alter any across the other parks? Each Disney ride typically excels at least one thing, and some things are easier to improve than others, like a catchy song will stay catchy, while special effects age. Next, we'll acknowledge why some people may be against upgrades, because, let's face it, Disney has lost some of its goodwill, so trusting them with such an important task is hard. But Disney's competition is getting steeper. They're no longer the only game in town, as Universal keeps expanding and upping their game. So how long will it take until classic rides start to look dated? And Walt himself stated that Disneyland will never be complete. So while we may have strong memories attached to certain rides, we shouldn't let that nostalgia get in the way of progress because, unfortunately, the only constant is change. Disney World's Magic Kingdom has already drained rivers of America to make room for new stuff. So it really doesn't matter how iconic an attraction is, eventually it will be closed or altered. There, so now you're free to go watch the next viral prank fad. For the rest of you, put on your mouse ears because we're asking if Disney parks should update some of their rides. Part 1. Who qualifies and which rides would benefit? An impressive 14 rides from the opening day still operate today. So you'd think that these are the rides that would need an update. Not necessarily. For example, there's not much you can really update for the teacups or the train. Since rebuilding a ride is such an expensive, risky move, it's important to identify which rides would be worth it. While time does play a role in determining whether it's a classic, it is not the most important factor when considering a remake. There's 3 questions to think about when choosing a ride. 1, who's the audience and will they appreciate an upgrade? Different rides attract different people across various age groups. Yes, most Disney rides are for all age groups, but there are definitely some that are geared towards young children, like It's a Small World. While there is an opportunity to upgrade It's a Small World, would the target audience even care? It doesn't take much to impress a 6-year-old, so Disney going all out wouldn't gain much. It's like, could Miyazaki reimagine Dora the Explorer? Yeah, sure, I bet it would be beautiful and whimsical, but what would be the point? Which makes you think, if kids wouldn't appreciate a Small World upgrade, would any ride upgrade be worth it, since they're all meant for kids? I'd say there's a difference to being for kids and being for everyone. Small World may appeal to small kids, but others have something for everyone. So even if the littlies wouldn't appreciate an upgrade to another ride, the older folks could. So we're gonna exclude any ride that caters to the young. 2, is there a precedent? Outside the US, Disney has 4 going on 5 theme parks, and almost each park has their own unique take on a classic ride. Shanghai Disney has Pirates of the Caribbean Battle for the Sunken Treasure, a complete new story that pits Captain Jack Sparrow against Davy Jones, while Disneyland Paris and Hong Kong have their own takes on the Haunted Mansion that reflects and respects their specific cultures. These rides and others give us a glimpse on what Imagineers can achieve today. If you never foresee yourself traveling to Asia just for Disney, I suggest watching some ride-throughs. If Disney did do an upgrade here in America, you can think of it kind of like a surgery, and any surgery is scary because it has huge consequences. But you can minimize the risk by working with a surgeon with many past successes. While not a prerequisite, it does help boost the confidence. 3. Can the main attraction be improved? Each ride has some draw. Could be a song, the humor, animatronics, whatever. Each ride typically excels at something, so understanding each ride's appeal will help us pinpoint which rides would benefit from an upgrade, as some signature features are easier to improve than others. For example, on paper, It's a Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean, and the Haunted Mansion appear to be similar. They all have animatronics, catchy songs, and are designed by a lot of the same people, but each one's main draw is different. While Small World does have doll-like animatronics, they are nowhere near as sophisticated as others. Instead, its identity is its song, meaning any major update wouldn't be worth it as the song ties it all together, and a song, unlike technology, is timeless. You might think that Jungle Cruise, one of the original Disney attractions, would qualify since it relies heavily on animatronics, but the animatronics play second fiddle to the true star, the skippers. The skippers bring an energy and that human element that makes the ride. Sure, you could update the animatronics, but how can you improve on the 8th wonder of the world?
The backside of water.
That leaves us with Pirates and the Haunted Mansion, both whose main draw are the effects, atmosphere, and animatronics. Those are the qualities that benefit the most from updates, as contemporary technology has allowed Imagineers to do the unthinkable and push reality to the limit. You can do this with any ride to help determine if it's even worth thinking about an upgrade. For simplicity's sake, we're going to focus mainly on Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion, as they're found in both Disney World and Disneyland, and hold a greater cultural impact than, say, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. To the dissenters. Now, if your gut reaction is an immediate no, I can understand why. Maybe it's because Disney rides are special and that they connect generations of people. Or that you think that they're good enough now and that Disney would just screw everything up, which all valid concerns, especially as there's not too many shared experiences anymore. As content continues to niche down, everyone's more separated. But for those families that are lucky to go to Disney parks, they do share something that crosses multiple generational boundaries. And if you update those rides, that link gets severed. Plus, the rides still look and feel good today. But Disney rides should be more than good. They should be awe-inspiring. Good enough won't cut it forever. Disney parks may have been the first of its kind in 1955, but there is serious competition today, especially as Nintendo has teamed up with Universal in both the film and theme park space. I'm not saying that Disney ought to embrace Universal's heavy reliance on screens and motion simulation rides. I'm definitely not saying that. But anyone who stood under the Jurassic Park gates or walked down Diagon Alley knows what Universal is capable of. So while Pirates and the Haunted Mansion may be able to stand toe-to-toe with other rides today, who knows what the theme park landscape will look like in 30 years. Walt and his Imagineers pushed themselves so they could create a one-of-a-kind experience. But they were bound by the limitations of their time. Walt always had bigger dreams for Disneyland. They were just unobtainable, which is why Walt himself stated how,
"As long as there is imagination left in the world, Disneyland will never be complete."
The minute we say we can't improve on the Haunted Mansion, that it's perfect the way it is the day that we admit that imagination and innovation is dead. And by Walt's ghost, I am not prepared to make that statement. But if you're afraid that modern Disney just won't do it justice, then fair. There have been some bad ride refurbishments. I want to make a whole video about what went wrong with Tiana's Bayou Adventure for the future. So yeah, new does not automatically mean better, which I think is pretty obvious after some of those live action remakes. And the scary thing about ride reimaginings is that if the new one is bad, you can't just go back and ride the old one the way you can watch the original film. But I think the right Imagineering team can get the job done. Imagineers are masters at a special combination of art and math. They have the imagination to dream big while being grounded in reality. They push the bounds of what's possible and create magical moments that never get old after seeing them time and time again. While Disney has created some duds, most new attractions are amazing, proving why Disney magic is a thing. Let your imagination run wild on what could be done. I'm picturing a scene with a conductor ghost conducting the Doom Buggies a dance, sort of like Daisy Duck and Mickey's Runaway Railway. Maybe it's even powered by AI and can do some crowd work before starting the dance. I want to hear even your most crazy ideas, so drop them in the comments below. They don't even have to be grounded in reality. So don't even worry how to make it happen. Any big change is scary. I trust that Disney will respect their most classic rides since they help cement their status as the greatest theme park group in the world. Or maybe they just put in Eddie Murphy. And I know you can't please everyone. Some people will be outraged at the change, while others will just be posting doomer bait about the parks being stagnant. So I came up with a nice little middle ground. Keep Disneyland the same so it can act as a sort of time capsule. As much as Walt claims that Disneyland will never be complete, there is something pure about his vision. That way, we can have the best of both worlds. And if you're still not convinced, well, I have some bad news for you. The Disney parks are already changing. Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom recently drained Rivers of America and closed Tom Sawyer's Island to make room for a Cars and Villains Land. So while most Disney experiences hold up now, will that still be the case in 10, 20, 30 more years? I'm looking at you, Enchanted Tiki Room. The only constant is change, and that's true even for Disney. So for the question, should classic rides be updated? The answer isn't so much a yes or no, it's more of a when. I don't think this is something people need to worry about happening anytime soon, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some major changes in the next 10 to 20 years. This is the Other Mouse, and I'll see you at the castle.